Okay, so we will do ajax today, and Kate gave me a couple of URLs which we will use in our project for the ajax demonstration. So this is the ajax folder, and I will go to I will delete some unimportant files. These are the unimportant files for now. So I'll delete those files, and I will open app.js. I'll delete a couple of files which are not needed. I'll go to index.js, and I'll delete some unimportant lines. So this is my project. So how to do the ajax call? First, I will show you a general view how to do the ajax call. So I'll just create a function called as ajax demonstration. There are three methods in the ajax call. We will only see get method today. Is get method, and there are a couple more which I will explain you next week or after some time. For today's class, we will only understand what is the get method, how to implement the get method. So for the ajax demonstration, we need the URL, the one URL which we need to use it. So this is the called URL. I will pass some URL, and this is my app one. So first step in ajax call. Everybody know what is the meaning of ajax call? Any you know? What is meaning of ajax call?
No.
Okay, so just in short, I will explain you. So when we were doing our project 100, okay, now I'll not talk about project 100. Let's say, okay, I'll give you one example. Let's go to project 100. I will open the index.php, and I'll go to preview in Chrome. So this is the religion project which we were building it. You remember we created this follow button?
Yeah.
You remember that? We created the follow. What is the meaning of follow? What it does? It does that I am following this religion, right?
Yeah.
So if I click follow, it is going to another page called as followreligion.php, and here I am getting confirmation. So it is something we are changing the page from page 1 to page 2. Ajax means if I click follow, it should hiddenly go to the second page, and here just I will show the message you are correct, following properly. 1 second, hold on. And did you got it what I said? So ajax means we will go to the follow page, but user will not see. It will go hiddenly through JavaScript. That is called ajax request. So if I click follow, you will see in the network panel that we are calling some URL, but user will not be able to see that URL, and just he will see a confirmation message here only. So the page will not be refreshed, though we will call the follow page. Okay, so we'll see example. You will understand more clearly when we will see some example. So now, how to do the ajax request? We should have the one URL. So let's say I will show you what this URL have. What is the content of the URL? Okay, let me open that URL. Okay, this is one of the URL. So this URL has a JSON format data. What is having JSON format data? So if you see, there is a top level array by rectangular bracket, and there are two objects inside this array. So what I want to do in the ajax call, I want to call these two objects without refreshing the page. So it should call these two objects That means the title, this title, which is where is the title here? This is the title digestive system, and second one title is the solar system. So I want to display this title digestive system and solar system without refreshing the page. So my ajax call will call this URL, and after it will call this URL, it will grab the data and display it on the page without refreshing the page. So that is called the ajax. So we will do that part. So now how to do the ajax call? So I have to start with this is a default library, JavaScript library. So you don't have to you don't have to install any other thing. You don't have to install jQuery and all. This is defaultly available in all the JavaScript and all the browser. So I will say fetch. Fetch is a method where I will do ajax call, and I will pass the URL, the one which I want to call. So in our case, this is the URL. This is the URL which you have to call. I am putting you in the chat this URL. This is the URL which I have to call. I will say fetch URL, and then I will put some object. I will pass the object, and I will close the round bracket. And in this object, I will say method clone get. Since we are doing the get method, so we will pass method get. And after the round bracket, I will say dot then, and I will start round bracket again. Inside this round bracket, I will create one arrow function. So how to create arrow function? I will create a round bracket, then I will say equal greater than sign, and then I'll start curly bracket start, curly bracket in. And in this round bracket, I will pass some response. I will say response. Don't have to remember everything, just listen what I'm saying, and in the end you have to use it. So just don't remember anything. Nobody remembers. Even I forget when I go for interview. I forget this all the steps. Generally, just I copy some from somewhere and I use it whenever I needed it. Then I'll say then return response dot JSON. Then again I have to start with the then, round bracket start, round bracket close. Inside round bracket I will again put the arrow function. And in this arrow function I will pass one parameter called as j. And I will say console.log j is, and j which I am getting it. So this is the parameter which is coming, and this is what I am displaying it. Then I will say catch. Inside catch I will again create an arrow function, and I will pass error as err. And here inside curly bracket I will say console.log error is err. So whenever I will call this URL, which you are seeing in this page, this URL through ajax, and whatever you are seeing here, all this data will be available here in the console.log. So this is the place where I want to manipulate anything in my program. So all this thing is something rubbish. You don't have to remember anything. But you have to remember that whatever data is coming from the server, whatever you are seeing this data will be available here in the console log j. So other than that, you have to just copy paste. You have to only remember that this is an important part of the ajax request which we have to remember. Now I will call this my function ajax demonstration with the URL. Okay, this is the wrong. So I have to say URL. No, right, this is fine. This is a function. This is URL correct. So I will call this function with the URL which I provided, which I gave you in the chat, and I will see how the data is coming. So let's do that. So whenever we want to call the ajax request on the page load, we will use one of the lifecycle method that is called component mount. This is a function which we call whenever we want to load something on the page request. On page load, whatever we want to call any AJAX request, we will use component did mount. And here I will say var URL is equal to, and what is the URL? This is the URL. HTTP blah 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 blah. This. And I will call my AJAX request, that is this function. AJAX demonstration colon. So to call this AJAX demonstration, we have to say this dot AJAX demonstration. If I put only AJAX demonstration, it will not work. So now we will see what happened when page will load. When page will load, component did mount will call, and component did mount will call this function with the URL of this, which I have created here. And this URL will go into the fetch function, and ultimately we will see in the console.log j equal to the j, which is coming from the server, that is this data which you are able to see it. So let's go to a React page and let's go to the console. You will see j is coming as array of 2. One is 0 and one is 1, because here we have two objects. So you are able to see j is equal to 2. And if I open the 0 first one, you will be able to see title is digestive system. If I go here, if I open first one, title is digestive system. If you open due date is 2016-6/9. Here if you see due date is 2016-6/9. So that means this whole data came in the console.log in the form of j, in the variable of j. So in the j, I can access all the data which you see here. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Any doubts? I know you have to practice it, but when I explain you have to tell me if you have understood the procedure. If you did not understand any part of the procedure, then you have to ask me. You have to ask the question, what is this URL do? What is this method do? Whatever doubt you have to ask me now. I know you have to practice it to learn it, to remember it. But to understand it, you have to open your mouth now. You have to ask the doubts now.
So J is J, but where is J coming from?
J is coming from the fetch API. Fetch is the function of JavaScript. It calls the URL, which URL it is calling? This URL. And this URL is nothing but the URL which I gave you, the API URL. It may be Google website, it may be Yahoo website. This URL is the API URL. This API is created by some person and I put it in one of the files. So any person can create this API. Java developer will create API, or PHP developer in your website, in your company will create API, and they will give you this URL, and URL will be in this format which you are seeing here. So once you have to pass the URL, and whatever data you are seeing this, that will be available in the J variable, and it will be automatically available in the J variable, and you can use this using the console.log j equal to j. So whatever data you are seeing here will be available to you in the form of j. You can change it to different name also. Maybe you can say result. You can say result. So it will be result here. So whatever you give here name, it will be here with that same name. I'll show you. Now since I changed to result, you will see result, but result is same because both are coming from the server. So J or result, it is your custom name. You have given this name. Ultimately, it will consist of the data from the server. Name it whatever you want. Any more questions on this?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Now what I will do, you will see this J has too many things. So many things are there. Each one at 0th level, I have so many variables. Due at, description, default, blah, 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 blah. I don't want all. I want few of them. So I will clean up this data. Also, this data is in the J, but I need to save it in the state. Because everything which I want, I can use in React in the form of state. So let's create a state and we will save this data in the state. So I will create the state. To create the state, I will say constructor top. And here I will say super top. Now here I will create the state with the object. And I will create any variable, whatever I name. I can create username, password, anything. But this data which is coming from the server, I need to name something which I will save this data in my variable. So let's say I will give the name of Kate. And just I'm giving Kate. Don't get hurted. I'm giving your name. So whatever data is coming, I will save in the variable called as Kate. So now when data is coming from the server, I will update the state. I will say this dot set state. You know how to update the state? We cannot say this dot state equal to. We have to say this dot state round bracket start close, and here I will start with the curly bracket close, and here I will say Kate, and Kate will have the value of J. So I created a variable Kate, and this Kate has the data which is coming from the server. So whatever data is coming on the server is in the variable called J, and I assign this J variable to the Kate. Now Kate will get all the data which J is having. So now if I see the console.log of the state is this dot state, you will see a variable Kate, and Kate will have all the data which we get from the server. So now we get the data from the server. Initially is null. Then we went to the server with the J, and we got this data from the server. And then we have the state as a Kate variable, and Kate has same data which we got from the server. Is this part clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Carrie, you have to ask, otherwise you will be lost if you don't ask me. Just ask if you have questions, whatever I'm showing. Maybe it's a very dull question. You see me, it's very obvious. Then also you have to ask if you don't understand. Because right now, if you say yes, you will think you will watch the video. Watching video is only to remember. Understanding will not come in watching the video. To understand it, you have to ask now. Kate, if you have any question, ask.
So why would you want Kate and J to be exactly the same thing?
Because this J is a local variable. J will not persist in whole my application, but the state will be there in my whole application. So if I keep it till J, I won't be able to use this J variable in my whole application, but I will be able to use this state in my whole application.
Okay.
By the time I proceed with another step, you think any questions you have, what is this component date mount, though you might have forgotten, you should ask me, what does this do? So if you have forgotten, just ask me what is the meaning of this one, or if you don't understand this, ask me this, whatever you feel that, because I feel that you have understood whatever I explained here, because I have shown you the basics, but sometimes you forget the basics, so you need to ask me again. Okay, I will move further by the time you think on it, if you have any question.
Okay.
Here I will put some H1 text, and I will say assignments. Okay, so let's see assignments. I put assignments. Now there are two assignments I am getting from the server, 0 level, 1 level. Now before I show these assignments at the 0 level and 1 level, I need to clean up. I showed you this is so many data here. I don't need all the data. I need only few data. Let's clean up this data. So how to clean up this data? So before I save it in the state, I will clean up the data. So I have to loop through the J. See, there are two values of J, 0 and 1. That means I have to go through both the values. Is it right or wrong? I have to go through each value and clean up. Right?
Right.
So how to go through each value of the j? Will you use for loop or will you use while loop? What will you use to go through all the values of j? Answer me. What will you use?
Maybe a
Hmm?
while loop.
While loop. Kate?
Uh, for loop.
Okay. So I will show you one new method to loop in
Map.
ES6. Map. It is called map method. So what I will say, I have to loop the j. I will say j dot map. Then I'll put the round bracket. And inside round bracket, I will create an arrow function. Arrow function is like this: round bracket equal greater than sign curly bracket. And in the round bracket, it will have two values. One value is called value, and second one will be key. So when I see whatever coming from the server, 0, and we have some array. So the zeroth number, we have object. So 0 is the key. So when I say value and key, it means key will come as a 0 and 1, because first is 0, second is 1. So key will come as a 0 and value will be this object. Second time, key will be 1 and value will be this object. So there will be two key value pairs because there are two records. So if I want to console.log, and in this curly bracket, I will do console.log to see what is coming. I will say console.log, key is key and value is value. I will refresh it and let's see what is coming. It is giving some error, but which we will fix later. But you can see the key is 0 and value is the object which we get. And second time, because it's a two records, so second time key is 1 and value is the object which we get. So we are getting key value pair. So since we are getting the value pair with all the data, we have all the data. I don't want all. I told you, I don't want all. I want to clean up. I will create one object and I will clean up. Let's say I will say create a var object is equal to an object, and then I will only choose some of the values which are coming from the server. For example, I will say ID. I want this ID. So I will say obj.id is equal to value.id, because from the server we get the value and we are saving it in the object. So I will say obj.id will take this one. Obj.id is value.id. So on the server we are getting the value. Value.id is nothing but this ID. And I am saving it in the object. This object is a local variable I created because I want to clean up. I don't want to save the whole value because it has too much data. If I put too much data, I will be confused. I will choose only the data which I need. So if I want to do console.log of object, obj is obj. Let's see what is coming in obj. So this is the key 0, value 0. It has lot of data. I created obj with only one data, that is called ID, and this one. And I created for second record, I created only one key value pair, that is ID, and this is the value. So like this, right now I put only one value. I will put 3 or 4 values which are needed for my application. So let's try to put some more values in the object. I want title also. So I will put title. So how to put title? You will say obj title is equal to value dot title. Put some more values. I want a description. So I will say obj dot description is equal to value dot description. Now I will ask you. You have to tell me next line. I want to save this duet. So what I will write?
obj.duet
Equal to
value.duet.
okay. So it is correct. This is correct. Now I will ask another one. I want to save this creator ID. I want to save inside the creator. I want to save the ID. So I can give creator underscore ID in my obj, or whatever way you want to do, you can do. You can create a creator, and inside it you can create ID. Let's say I want to create. I will create obj dot creator underscore ID. This is the name I give for my obj. And what will be the value? You have to tell me the value. What should I put in the value?
Value dot creator dot
Value dot creator
dot ID.
ID. Right. For because ID is inside the creator and creator inside the value. Though I am saving it here as a creator ID, but in the value it is inside the creator. Inside the creator we have ID. Okay, let me see what else I want. Okay, I don't need any other thing, for example. Let's save it and see what is obj coming. So now, if you see, obj is coming as creator ID, description, duet, ID, and title. So if you see the value, it is so much data. I don't need all the data. I need only this data. So I clean up the whole of the object, and I put only limited things which I needed it. Okay. So now in the state, right now I'm saving the whole data which I am getting from the server, but now I will only save this obj part. I will not save all the value part. So if you say J is in the format of array or object.
Array.
Array. That is an array. 0, 1, J is the array. So we need our custom array, because I want to save, instead of J, I want to save my variable which is having only this much data. So instead of J, I will create one new array called as carry array. I will name it as carry, and it will be array format. Now, each object which I am creating, for each value I am creating one object. So I will put each object inside the carry. So I will say how to put inside the carry. What is the way to push inside the carry? Carry is an array. Tamil? Okay, you will be online.
Hi.
Hello? Yeah, we will start in 2 minutes. Let me finish this part in 2 minutes. We will start in 2 minutes.
Okay, right, fine.
Okay.
Sure.
So, Kate and carry. Carry is an array. Remember, array is an array. How we add the data in the array? You remember the chapter we did in the JavaScript?
Push.
Yes.
Push.
Like
Push. We use push.
yeah.
Okay, so I will say carry dot push. And what I will put inside the push? What I will put inside the push?
OBJ.
OBJ. So now carry will be the array with all the object, and this object will be cleanup object. I am not putting value. I am putting this cleanup version of the object. So let's see what is coming in the carry. Carry is, let's see now it's what is coming in the carry. So if you see, carry is having the 2 elements of the array, and 0th element is having the trimmed version of the value, and one version is also having the trimmed version of the whole value. If you see value is so big, but what I did, I cut down the value into object, and I push each object into the carry. So carry will become an array like J, but carry has an object which is trimmed version of the J. It is trimmed version. It is not the whole value. Why I trimmed the version of this J? Because I don't want to have the headache of so many variables. Otherwise, I will confuse which I want to use. Right now, I'm only using the variables which I really need for my application. Tomorrow, let's say my designer saying, okay, show the grade percentage also. So what I will do, I will add the grade percentage in my object. I will not put all the key value pairs. I will put only the variables which I need for my application. We will continue this after the class of the project 100. I want to show some more things on this. So I will continue this project after this session, next session. Okay. Okay, Kate.
Yes.
Okay.